Well, good afternoon, friends. Good afternoon. Welcome. Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Dune and Friends. My name is Dune Win. We're having a wonderful guest join us today for an hour and a bit. We have Von Eric Tandoc joining us. Grab yourself a coffee or a tea or your favorite beverage of any kind, folks, and join us. Join us for a conversation here on communication and community and just a lot of wonderful things and things that will inspire us and things that will serve the community. Vaughn, can you still hear me in the green room there, my friend? Wonderful. So I think we are ready to go here, folks. We're ready to go. So let me do a quick introduction of our guest here before we have him join us on screen here, folks. A community communicator and an encourager, teacher and facilitator, Von Eric is a natural leader, speaker, motivator, mentor, and coach. 2019 saw him found Paper Plane, an initiative that and initiated the book drive of children's and professional level publications, which were donated to his alma mater in the Philippines. Combining a sense of responsibility with gentleness, he states his mission clearly. I was born to bring out the best in people by sharing my experience in the mechanics of, as well as dynamics of confident communication so that others can realize their dreams. Vaughn is an author of Say It Loud, Say It Proud, which launched on July 10th, 2020. With that brief and sweet introduction, friends, please help me in welcoming our guest today, Mr. Von Eric Tandoc. How are you today, my friend?
Hello, everyone. Good morning, my friend John. Thank you. I'm good. And you? How are you?
I am well. I'm well. Thank you. Thank you. So Vaughn, tell us a little bit more about your background. Expand on it a little bit before we get into the conversation here deeper. Tell us about your early years. Tell us a story or two from then as well.
Well, thank you for that. Originally, my background is on customer service. I work in a fast food industry for the last 25 years. And that is also the vehicle that brought me here 12 years ago, because Canada by that time needs workers from other countries. So my visa is temporary foreign worker. So we call ourselves, they call us actually guest worker. So I started in Drayton Valley. I work in a fast food industry. I rose from the rank, become one of the senior managers of that branch. And eventually, that also helped me brought my family here. So I've been away from my family for 6 long years. And yes, after that, I moved to safety and fire extinguisher inspection and maintenance. That is my full-time job right now. And also a part-time teacher. So I had the opportunity to teach young children as well as young adults. Yeah.
Nice.
Yes, it's a great journey.
Fantastic. So here's a case of you chose to pursue a career and work placement in Canada and literally left your family behind to kind of invest in this new journey. And sounded like the investment, well, it took a few years to come to full fruition in the way it is. You got your family over here in Canada with you, and congratulations for that. I know how that's like. I am an immigrant to Canada back in the early 80s, and certainly we've sponsored our family over along the way as well in the early years there. And so we have that in common, my friend.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Yes, it's really hard. It's really difficult to be away from your family. But my goal before, I really wanted to show the other part of the world to my family. So when there's an opportunity here for me to work in Canada, and it's aligning to my goal. So I said to myself, I think this is a good opportunity for me, my wife and son, to show other part of the world because we also like traveling.
Mm.
So it's a good opportunity to be in North America, and we are very near to United States and other part of North America. So I took the chance and opportunity to work here, even though, of course, you have to sacrifice something. I always believe that to be able to be successful in one thing, you have to give up something.
Yeah.
So to be able to be successful, give up to go up.
Give up to go up. Yeah. I love that. I love that. Let me put that quote there from you there. So I'm going to say, give up. I'm going to just put it on screen there. It's such a neat sounding sound bite. So give up to go up. In other words, I believe in the same thing, and that is we have to be very uh, careful and strategic about the sacrifices that we make. We have to life. There's no freebies in life. We have to invest some time and money and effort, and in some cases, pain and sweat and tears to be able to achieve something in the long run. And so that investment there requires us to sacrifice a few things along the way and give up to go up. Wonderful, wonderful saying there, my friend.
Yes, yeah, totally agree with what you said.
Hmm.
Like you have to give up some pleasure to get that opportunity. So that is I always follow.
Yeah.
There's no balance. You either away from your family or you're with them. So that's what
Hmm.
I did.
Yeah.
6 long years is a long years, yes, but afterwards I feel progress and success with what I did
Yeah.
12 years ago.
There's no such thing as overnight successes. It takes a lot of sacrifices and commitment along the way in whatever we do, whether it's a career, whether it's our other passion, but things, anything that's meaningful, it's going to take some time, right?
Absolutely true.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing that. Now, we're going to delve into all kinds of things here over the next hour and a bit. And again, folks who are joining us on the live feed here, as well as in the recorded replay, feel free to comment right in the live video there, and we'll be able to respond to your comment. And if you do it live here, we'll be able to feature your comment. We'll be able to have you interact with us on the show here, folks. So come in and interact with us. So Vaughn, tell me a little bit more about I'm going to ask you the question of when you first came to Canada. Was that the first experience of cold weather? Was that first experience? Tell us about the differences between where you used to live and where you came. Obviously Canada. And I don't know if you came in the winter like I did or in the summer. Tell us about the first experience with Canada, the way you remember it.
Well, the lucky for me when I arrived here in Canada 12 years ago, it's summertime.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still cold compared to a tropical climate like the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so everything changed. Like, do you know this so-called culture shock? I was shocked for the first time. There's always first time in our life.
Mm-hmm.
First time to see other people speaking not in your own dialect.
Mm-hmm.
Although in the Philippines, English is our one of our major language, but still it's still different. The weather is different. And then I remember when I asked one of the staff in the airport and I asked her, is it summertime here? And he said, yes, it's summertime here, almost summer. So yeah, I feel cold when you get out. And the one thing when I get out from the airport in Edmonton Airport, this is one thing that I noticed.
Mm.
7 o'clock, there's still sun. It used to be in the Philippines by 6 o'clock, it's already dark.
Yeah.
But by that time, 7 o'clock, the sun is still up. So yeah, so those are the experience that I experienced when I came in here, Canada. So it's
Yeah.
kind of culture shock.
Yeah, culture shock is a real thing. I've experienced it, and many of you out there probably have experienced it. And so tell us a little bit more about speaking. You are a real active member of the Toastmasters International. Tell us about when you started that and why you started that and your thoughts on Toastmasters as a journey, as an experience.
Thank you for asking that, Don. Actually, I discovered Toastmasters after 6 years when I'm already here in Canada. For me, that's too late. If I discovered it when I came in here, probably it helps me better to improve more in my communication skill. So the reason why I discovered Toastmasters by accident actually. I'm really passionate about self-improvement. I love learning and I plan to go back to school. And then I went to this building wherein we still have the Northwest College here in Drayton Valley before. So I went to that building to enroll. And then it caught my attention. There's a poster, it says, build your confidence. So do you want to ace the interview? You want to be confident in public speaking? So it caught my attention. So instead of becoming a student, I became a Toastmaster. I did not become a student of that building, that school, but I end up being Toastmaster. And yes, it helps me a lot. It helps me improve how I communicate to other people. Particularly, I work in fast food industry wherein you have to communicate with different kind of people. So communication skill is really imperative. And of course, English is my second language, so I have to listen carefully with people on what they're saying. Communication for me is more of actually not what I'm saying, but what other people understand on what I'm saying. So those are the reason why I really wanted to improve myself. And being a manager, it's very difficult if you can convey your message to your staff. So it's our responsibility as an immigrant to learn the language more. Of course, we know how to speak the language, but the listening skill is so different. You may speak the language well, but if you can't listen very well, then there will be a little problem. It will create confusion. So that is one thing that I want to avoid, create confusion. As I mentioned earlier, Don, communication is not what you say, it's how the other people, your listener, understand what you say. So I went to this public speaking group, which is the Toastmaster International, and it improves my listening skill. I learned that in communication, you have to listen more than to speak more. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Wonderful. Again, listening is, as I've discovered along the way as well, is one of the most challenging skill that a lot of people don't focus on perfecting, don't focus on improving. Too many people focus on the speaking side of it and not enough on the listening side. And listening is an important part, much more important part of communication, actually.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have Toastmasters website there up there, Toastmasters International. You probably have some warm feelings as you look at that website there. So you discovered that a number of years ago, as you mentioned, a little bit later than what you would have liked. So folks out there who have not heard of Toastmasters yet, do check it out, folks. You might be saying, "I'm glad I discovered it," and it is really focused on helping people with communication as well as leadership skills. So.
Right.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. So you're in Toastmasters. Tell us a bit more about your. Are you one of these that do the contests and competition and all those kinds of things? What's your kind of take on Toastmasters? Different people engage differently. Tell us a little bit more about how you engage in Toastmasters. Are you a regular member? You attend at most weeks, or how does that work?
I remember the time when I very active in Toastmasters. I'm still a member of Toastmasters until now. I belong to only one group. I'm the president of my home club in Drayton Valley today. Yes, when I was very active, that was 2 or 3 years ago, I belonged to four clubs at the same time.
Mm.
So I belong to Camrose Club, one in Lingo, in Advanced Communicator in Edmonton.
Hmm.
I also belong to the GoPro speakers.
Yes.
I'm one of the founding member or the so-called charter member of that advanced club.
Mm-hmm.
So four clubs in total, and I have to travel. And I remember sometimes it's kind of fun when you think that the travel is longer than the meeting itself. Let's say I went to Camrose. That is a 4 hour drive back and forth, and the meeting will only last 1.5 to 2 hours. So
Yeah.
the driving is longer than the meeting, but I'm really passionate about this club because I really wanted to meet other people.
Mm-hmm.
One reason why I stayed in this organization is because of the mentoring.
Yeah.
The members, particularly the seasoned Toastmasters, I'm impressed on how they impart and share their knowledge. And I love it. It's the mentoring that makes me stay in this organization. And when I say mentoring, it's because I trust the person. He
Mm-hmm.
or she's my friend. You just can't go to her and, can you be my mentor? No. There should be a trust between us. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how it works. And because of that mentoring, I was inspired to share what I'd learned. So I use my social media, my Facebook, to share everything about Toastmasters and everything about learning and self growth.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, that makes me stay in Toastmasters. One thing that I really love is the people. The
Yeah.
people are really nice in Toastmasters.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you for sharing that, and I must commend you for making the kind of commitments that you referred to, and that was to drive 4 hours for an hour and a bit of a meeting, and
That's
then
good.
that's you perceive the event differently when you have to sacrifice your time and safety, driving and gas and whatnot to get to the meeting and to get back, and I'm sure you in the meeting you were like I want to be here. I mean, of course you want to be here because you spent 4 hours driving to kind of make it happen.
Well, I value the people in the organization. So it's the people in the organizations that actually makes us come back. So
Mm-hmm.
if you show to the new member or everyone, be it new or member, that you value people, that individual will always come back. It's
Mm-hmm.
because of your warmth and your friendship, the learning that you share, everything. And of course the fun that we share all together in the club. That's the most important.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Now I'm going to bring in some photos in here and perhaps tell us some stories along the way here to just get to know you a bit better and to glean some insights from these conversations here. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring in this photo here. So you do speaking at various events and whatnot. What do you like most about speaking? Tell us a little bit about why you like it so much.
At first, I really love to listen to public speaker, professional speaker. I really love to listen about the inspiration, the message that they want to convey to their audience. And then later on, I decided to inspire to. So let's say like reading a book. When you read something in a book and you were inspired and you learn something from that, you want to share it. You will
Mm-hmm.
tell your friends, read this book. This is a good book. So same thing with public speakers and professional speakers. When you listen to them and you learn something, you want to share it to other people. And one way of sharing what you learn, what you hear, what you listen is also to speak. Speak what you learn from others. So that's where my love with public speaking started.
Yeah, yeah.
That picture, the first picture actually is a youth leadership program in our town. So that's my way of sharing what I learned from
Mhm.
others.
Now,
And
I want to know more. Drayton Valley. What's the population of Drayton Valley these days? Do you know roughly?
yeah, good question. 3 years ago, we're around roughly 6 to 7 thousand, but
Hmm.
people, uh, with the situation happening right now
Hmm.
here in town,
Yeah.
people are leaving the town and they move back to their original
Yeah.
province.
Hmm.
Roughly, we're still around less than 6,000, 5 to
Okay.
6,000.
Yeah.
That's
So
my
that's a little bit bigger than Westlock, Alberta, where I came to Canada to Westlock, Alberta, and lived there for 7 years before coming up to Edmonton for yeah, education, post secondary education. But yeah, I very much appreciate the small town. The benefits of the small town is awesome as well. So thanks
I
for
love
sharing.
small town actually.
Yeah.
I call it everything here in Drayton Valley is 5 minutes. So
Mm,
less traffic, unlike in Edmonton. So I love small town because when you want to go to your meeting, you will not have this problem of traffic. In less than 5 minutes, you will be in the location that you want to go. So
mm.
that's the
Yeah.
benefit. Yeah, benefits of
I
living.
remember living in Westlock in the I guess early '80s and into the early '90s. I can tell you that I didn't even know. I don't remember any of my house addresses because there was no need to actually tell anybody about your address. It's like they just drive past the Esso
Yeah,
gas station and turn left at the church, and you're just two houses down. So it was such a small town that I honestly, we moved a few times in Westlock, and I honestly don't remember or even care to even know about the address of any of those places because there was just no need.
yeah. You just remember the landmark in front of the gas station. There you go in front of the church.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Now you're into books as well. Tell us about how and why you got into books, and do you have a story of when you were introduced to books and that resonated with you?
Yes, I love reading books and I also love sharing books.
Hmm.
2019, my friend and my former instructor in the Philippines, my alma mater, requested me to donate books. The purpose of the books is for their accreditation level. So they are applying last year for level 4 accreditation. I believe you know how accreditation works in a certain university because you're teaching in a university.
Hmm.
So they need someone outside of the Philippines as their international link. That picture are those are the professors, and the second to the left is my friend and my former teacher. So she requested me, and I feel blessed. I feel that I'm the instrument to donate books. I donated 700 books last year before the pandemic.
Wow.
But that 700 books came from my friends. I also asked help from the Drayton Valley Library. I asked help from various organizations like Lions Club and Rotary Club
Hmm.
to help me. And also my friends in Toastmasters. So they give lots of books.
Mm.
And I shipped that back to the Philippines. I
Nice.
have a friend here in Drayton Valley. His name is Malon, who supported my book program. So we drove to Edmonton, bring that heavy box, and then the book. It's surreal. I'm happy to see in the picture the books that I sent last year, and I'm proud to say that I become part of this because the college they achieved their goal to become a level 4 accredited. So because of
Um,
that book. Yeah, so they earn points from that. Some of the books, they also send it to different community. So they have a community outreach program and they donated the books.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. That's a fantastic thing, and you've done this for a few years, and if you can count up the books that have been sent over the years, probably quite a high number there. But the main point I want to bring out is that he is somebody who is has embraced the life in Canada and really appreciate and grateful for what it has to offer, but willing and able to help others who are less fortunate around the world. In this case, at the university that he graduated from, or the post-secondary school that he graduated from a while back, and really the idea is give where you can, give to those who would appreciate it, right?
Right, right. It's nice to give actually. It's nice to give some blessings.
Hmm.
Compared my life in the Philippines, like I can't afford anything here when I went here. It's
Hmm.
a big blessings that what I can't afford in the Philippines, I can afford here. And of course, the people here, they are really generous.
Mm-hmm.
That's that's our friend Bob donated.
Absolutely,
So
Mr. Bob Huey, Bob the
yeah,
Idea Man Huey.
yeah.
Love him.
So he donated all of his books, and his book is now in the library
There
in the
you
university
go.
I graduated now. Yeah, so I asked help from him.
Yeah,
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 I
yeah.
also asked book from Fong, who helped me
Feng
in
Shui.
my book. Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, Fong is a great guide as well. Both Bob Huey as well as Feng Shui has been on the show here, and so we had a conversation with both of them there. Just a reminder, folks who are watching, feel free to put a comments in the comment section of the Facebook video there. If you put it right in the live video that's playing right now, we'll be able to see it. We'll be able to feature your comment on screen, and we'll have Vaughn respond to them. And even just encouraging Vaughn along the way, or if you have questions for him or comments for him, feel free to interact with us. So Vaughn, Toastmasters and books and whatnot. You eventually got around to actually writing your own book. Tell us about that journey of why you decided to write your own book and how long it took to write your own book, and tell us the some of the outcomes or the insights along the way in that book writing journey.
Yeah, thank you for asking that, my friend. My book, Say It Loud, Say It Proud, is actually my inspiration are the participants of my youth leadership program here in town. So they are my source of inspiration. I'm doing youth leadership program for almost 2 years. And I really wanted to share what I learned and into that book. My book is actually for a beginner. My target audience is about students and for those immigrants who have who wants to improve their communication and presentation skills.
Yeah.
Because that is me before. I'm also a shy person, particularly when you go to a new place. What you can do, you have to be confident. And of course, there are these times that we are not confident. So you have to develop yourself. So, anyway, I wrote the book for students. They are my inspiration, and for immigrant,
Hmm.
and for those who wants to change their career. I have a friend whom I'm mentoring right now, and she wants to change career. So I keep encouraging people. So I told myself, why not write a book so that you can expand, you can share. And also one reason why I wrote the book is because of my book donation program. I told myself, if I keep on asking my friends to donate their book, why should I write my own book too? So that there's more book to donate.
Hmm.
So those are my inspiration: the book donation program and the youth leadership program. And my Fong, my coach, who helped me in my book, so I owe it a lot to him.
Yeah.
And
Of
of
course.
course, the other mentor like
Yeah.
Mark Hain.
Mr. Feng Shui is a wonderful coach and a wonderful mentor and a wonderful, really supporter of uh, squeezing all the juice out of life in terms of your potential and realizing your full potential. And so, shout out to Mr. Feng Chua. And now you
Hey,
mentioned Mark Haynes as well. Great guy, Mark Haynes.
yes, yeah, hey.
Yeah. Hmm. Mark has a regular, well, multiple shows, but one of his shows actually is on every weekday morning at what is it? Tuesday, every
True.
Tuesday, I think at 10 a.m. if I remember correctly, Mountain Time. So Mark Haynes. So Mark Haynes live. But so tell us a little bit about how long did it take to write your book? Was it a long journey? I know Fong is known for helping people accelerate their book writing journey. So I'm guessing that it was faster than it would have been if Fong was not involved as a mentor, as a coach.
Well, it's a 90-day challenge actually. So
Yeah, nice.
it's pandemic. Unfortunately, I got laid off for how many weeks?
Hmm.
Mm, because of the pandemic and because of the oil and gas problem here in our town.
Yeah.
So I don't have a work, and I really wanted to make my time productive,
Mm.
make the best of my time. Yeah, I'm just at home, so I started writing the book. But actually, my plan to write a book way back 2019 when Deborah Kosowski,
Mm.
she was our guest in a GoPro meeting,
Yes.
and I was inspired by her book, Be Curious. And with the GoPro, I learned that book is more of a credibility. It's like more than a business card.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that will make you an expert in one thing if you have a book.
Mm-hmm.
So that gives me the idea someday I will write a book.
Mm-hmm.
And because I'm really passionate about presentation, public speaking, and communication and building your confidence, so that's the part of my book. Like those are the content of my book
Mm-hmm.
about how to present well. Just like now, I learned this from presentation. I can't do this if I do not improve myself. I cannot talk for like this for
Mm-hmm.
a long time like this if I don't involve myself. If I'm not confident.
Mm-hmm.
So I know there are a lot of people out there. They are way way confident than us. But what is important is we start somewhere. You have to begin somewhere. Just like that book. I start in that book.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing that, and thank you for doing your own journey and knowing who it is that you're serving, and knowing who it is that you are contributing into, and just focus on that, because we can all be disabled by the concept of, well, I don't know if I'm a international renowned expert on this or that, but we all are an expert at something, and while it may not be fantastically awesome compared to some world class, authors. We must do our own thing, and as we release our work and as we go through that journey, we also learn some stuff, and we provide some value to some people who otherwise wouldn't receive that value. So again, kudos to you for taking the quick. Really launch of this 90-day book challenge, as you call it.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Now, I wanted to get into some other aspects as well. So I'm curious, just for fun, uh, what is one or two things, one or two or three, if you want, that are actually surprisingly similar between the Philippines, where you were born and raised early years, and Canada? We can imagine there's a lot of differences, but what are some similar things that you say, this is just like way back home? It's just the same in Philippines as it is in Canada? Do you have some of those top of mind?
Wow, wow. That's a good question. What are the similarity? Well, I mentioned to you a while ago. I feel this culture shock feeling when I
Mm-hmm.
came in here. The weather, the language, the culture. If there's one thing similar, I think smiling people.
Mm-hmm.
Canadians love to smile.
Mm.
Filipinos love to smile. I think most Asians love to smile, just like you. You love to smile. And I feel sometimes when you smile too much, they will say that you are weird. I don't believe so. This is our natural. We
My wife,
smile.
my wife thought I was weird when I first met her. When I first met her, I asked her, "What were and she said, "I thought you were weird because you smiled too much."
That's funny. So, yeah, so I love smiling people. I have a friend who works in a local fast food in the Philippines before. He worked in Canada, but he went back to the Philippines, and I asked him, if I go to Canada, what is one thing that I should do?
Hmm.
Well, they love smiling people. Well, there's no problem with that because we Filipinos are so smiling people. We
Mhm,
are happy people. So I think that's one similar that I see.
mhm,
You don't want to see people who is grumpy, not smiling. So yeah, that's one thing that I
mhm,
noticed.
mhm,
And I love this stranger, someone that you don't know.
mhm,
I value them when you see them eye to eye and then they smile. I
mhm,
love that feeling.
mhm.
I love that feeling.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the one similar that I notice.
You bet. You bet. Now, just for fun, I'm going to go here. I see a microphone here and on the screen here. And karaoke. Let's talk karaoke for a moment. I was told, first of all, being Vietnamese, born and raised in Vietnam, I was told that Vietnamese are quite into karaoke. But then I was told by some other experts who says Vietnamese can't compete with Filipinos when it comes to karaoke. You guys are kings and queens of karaoke. Is that right? You love karaoke?
Filipinos love karaoke. It's part of any like birthday, baptismal, wedding. It's part of their culture. They like singing. They love singing.
Mm,
My wife is a good singer.
mhm,
That's one thing that in love with my wife. When she was still young, I was impressed with her voice. I love her singing. I love her looking singing. So yes, Filipinos love singing. I like singing, but I don't sing in front of people. I sing by myself because I believe that singing releases tension, keeps stress away. It's one way how to manage your stress is
yeah,
through music and singing. So I love music too. I'm
yeah.
not a performer or a singer, but I sing by myself. I sing in the shower. I sing by myself. I want to share this to everyone. 10 minutes of my day is singing.
Hmm.
I sing by myself. Sometimes my son see me singing. So yeah, I love singing. I sing by myself. I listen to YouTube
Hmm.
10, 10 minutes because as mentioned earlier, it helps you manage your stress and it keeps you happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, singing, first of all, it has all kinds of benefits. Of course, there's the benefits of music. Of course, there's the benefit of the lyrics. If you're singing the right lyrics, that's going to help you kind of feel a certain way or put yourself in a certain mind state. But even just the resonate, the really vibration, if you will, of your throat and your mouth. But here's an interesting thing. I heard a while back that, in fact, even just humming, in fact, humming has some benefits that actually even exceed singing because humming, when you hum, you're actually leaving or basically keeping the resonation near your, all of these parts here. And it's actually very, it has some really good benefits to, just humming. So for folks who don't know the words, don't remember the words, don't care about the words, even just humming is actually good for your health and your mental state of mind.
I'll do that if I forget the lyrics.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So, yeah, so wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing that. Now, tell us a little bit about. Now, you live in Edmonton for a while, is that right?
No, I just go to Edmonton for
Oh,
my
I see.
clubs.
I see. So, wow, that's a lot of. How long is it of a drive between Drayton Valley and Edmonton? Like on a no speeding and just drive there.
An hour and a half.
Okay.
I'm I'm a slow driver actually.
Mm-hmm.
My For some the 1 hour
Mm-hmm.
drivers or
Mm-hmm.
many drivers, for me it will take me an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, probably when I drive to Edmonton, an hour and a half, depending on locations.
yeah,
What
yeah.
locations in Edmonton?
Yeah, 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 yeah. So I want to hear from you a little bit more on any one of these photos here. As the photos flash by, I'm going to bring it back in here. I want to delve into some of these stories a little bit more with you, and I'm going to bring in some of these photos here. And
Oh wow.
now, it would be great if you could expand a little bit on the paper planes here as a kind of a project that we touched on a little bit before, but if you could expand on it, that'd be great.
Yeah, paper plane is the name of my son actually picked that name. Paper
Mm.
planes, paper because it symbolize the books.
Mhm.
Plane because we ship it to the Philippines or other country.
I love
So
it. I love
It's
it.
actually my son who coined that paper plane name, and he's also the one who designed that paper plane and the books.
Mm-hmm.
That is that. I really wanted to expand that. Probably later on, few years from now, it's not only books that we're sending in the Philippines. Probably computer
Mm-hmm.
or school materials. I also sent school materials, by the way, and used toys and used clothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to expand it later on if I have the resources and money
Mm-hmm.
to finance it. So
Mm-hmm.
probably some computer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the idea behind the paper plane. So
Love it, love it. Yeah, give your son a pat for doing a good job with the concept there. I quite like
I will.
paper planes as a concept, and
Yeah.
there's this little simple logo here with the books and the plane. Love it.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Hmm. Yeah. So, well, books. I mean, in the long run, I don't know from what you know in the Philippines. There, are they really into the sort of digital books these days, or are they somewhat kind of not quite there yet in terms of whether it's the Kindle or whatever have you? Talk a little bit about how they're embracing that, or how far they might be out in terms of the trend there.
Yeah. I think there's already digital or audiobooks in there, but not
Mhm.
the whole part of the country. The
Right.
remote provinces probably not. As for Kindle and Amazon, I keep on researching that, and Amazon is or Kindle is not yet available in the Philippines
Hmm.
because I really wanted to publish my book there, and they don't have Kindle or Amazon yet,
Hmm. I
so they
see.
can't deliver the paperback when we want the paperback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Now tell me about the two pins that you're wearing. One of them is Canada, I see, and
Yes.
the other pin is.
Well, actually, this pin is actually connected to this. This is the pin for my suit.
I
I
see.
use a Canada pin.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Now, so tell me, what does the future look like for you as you think out the next year or the next 4 years, 5 years? We're going to be able to kind of somewhat put COVID behind us in terms of understanding it and be able to cope with it, be able to adapt to it. As we make our way through this, what does your vision look like, my friend, for the future?
Well, thank you for asking that. Maybe for most of us, year 2020 is a year of pause.
Hmm.
For me, after this COVID, it will become a year of momentum.
Hmm.
So in myself, I want to build that motivation. I have this momentum when it comes to sending books, book donation. I want to expand more. When it's come to speaking, I hope one day I'll go to the Philippines and speak and share what I've learned, inspire people
Hmm.
to become the confident and reach for the dream,
Hmm.
achieve their goal. Because I always believe there are many talented people out there,
Hmm.
but because of shyness, because they lack confidence, they lack encouragement, they lack motivation,
Hmm.
they were not able to showcase their talent. So that is one thing that I want to do in the next 4 to 5 years. I want to be international speaker, speak in the Philippines and other parts of Asia, not
Wonderful.
just a community speaker.
Yeah, yeah, and in fact, you can start as you mentioned the momentum and COVID and the kind of the what is it virtual world does open some opportunity to kind of do some of that even right like today. You can come into any uh, obviously global locations. And if you're able to manage the technology effectively, that's the one step in that direction. And once
Mhm.
you're able to do those virtual engagement with other countries and other participants or audiences, that then perhaps one day traveling there in person will be just a natural extension, right?
Right, right.
Yep. So wonderful. Yeah. In other words, this is not the time to sit and what's the word here? Pout about how bad things are with COVID. This is the time to do the work. It is time to do the work.
Yes, yes. I
Good.
agree.
Good to hear. Glad to hear. Glad to hear. So I want to hear a couple other things. Tell us a little bit about your family, my friend. You mentioned one son. Uh, Tell us about your family, your wife, and do you have more than one child, or is it just one son? Or
Thank you for asking that, my friend. I hope I only have one son. We
Mhm.
have only one son, 18-year-old.
Mm,
He's doing online class.
nice.
He's taking up graphic designing.
Hmm. Nice.
So he wants to be artist someday.
Hmm.
My wife is also an artist, so they love drawing. They like to draw.
Very
They like
nice.
to sketch. One thing that I don't have that talent, but I'm happy that my son got it from his mom.
Hmm. Yeah. What's your
My
son's name? What's your son's name?
My son's name is Venice Erico, or Vico for short.
Okay. Nice.
And
Nice.
Vico is always the one who helps me with my technological work. So
Yeah.
when I
Uh,
have a question, I call him. If you will notice, he helps me set up.
Yeah, you bet.
Right?
Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Now, is it Vinny, did you say?
Venice Erico,
Venice Circle.
or
Wonderful. Yeah.
yeah.
And your wife's name is?
My wife's name is Eleanor, Ellie for
Eleanor.
short.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Eleanor. Well, thank you for
she's
sharing.
running one, what do you call this one? Once, can I say the name? 7-Eleven branch in town. So
Yeah.
she's the store manager.
Mm-hmm.
So
Nice.
she's doing well. They like it here.
Yeah.
I remember 2 years ago, 2018,
Mm-hmm.
when I asked them, if you have a choice, would you go back to the Philippines or live permanently in Canada?
Mm.
My wife and son said, yes, we will live in Canada permanently. So that's that year we process our citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when we go back to Canada, we're in the Philippines that time when I asked that question. And when we go back to Canada, let's process our citizenship. Then we will live in Canada permanently. And I think my wife and son enjoying here. They like it here.
Nice. Nice. Well, always good to confirm that is their wish and desire, and so I'm glad that that worked out for your family there. And so tell us a little bit about the whole what is it now? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on you know, Canada, the way you have seen it evolve? So you've been in Canada for now how long? Long?
12 years, more than 12 years.
Okay.
13 years next
All right.
year.
So 12, 13 years. Tell us from your own perspective, how have you seen, the evolution, or is it exactly the same the day you arrived to now, or has it evolved? I just want to hear your comment from somebody who is relatively new to Canada. What's your perspective on it?
Good question, my friend. Yeah. Actually, Canadians. Okay, I'll go to a small town.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Or there are very few immigrant here or temporary foreign worker.
Mm-hmm.
When they see you walking, Canadians will kind of, why is he walking? Because in our town, there's no transit. It's a small town. Everyone here has their own vehicle. When the foreign worker came in, the immigrants,
Yeah.
other nationalities like Indians, Chinese, when they came in here, of course, they started nothing. They still don't have their own vehicle. So you have to walk going to work. So I noticed when I walking before, people are looking at me as if it's their first time to see someone walking in the street. But as years pass by, it evolves. They now understand it. They are now more open-minded. I'm not saying they're close-minded. It's just that that's a new experience for them. Seeing uh, other people from other countries working in the town. So it's like a normal for them now. So I'm still walk. I love walking, and
Good for you.
different. Like there's no more people looking at me. Like it's now a part of their life,
Hmm.
seeing people walking in the streets going to work. So that is one thing that I notice. It evolves. Their perspective, their understanding, their notion, it changed 12 years ago.
Yeah. Now we have a comment from Donna Lean there. She said, "Yay!" with lots of stars and smiley faces. And uh,
Thank you. Thank you, Donna. Thank you, Lynn.
is she in the Drayton Valley area?
Yes, yes, yes. We
That's,
work together in uh, McDonald's,
mm-hmm,
and we're still very close.
mm-hmm,
Unfortunately, we don't have this Christmas gathering,
mm-hmm.
but good thing there's a like this online. We
Yeah,
still see each other.
yeah,
There's still Facebook.
yeah. Well, thank you, Donna Lean. And again, you're the first one to chimed in with a comment in this broadcast here, so that's a great demonstration for the rest who might wanted to chime in to say hi to Vaughn here, or ask him a question or two, or just comment on the stream here and interact with us. So thank you so much, Donnaline. And Vaughn, I wanted to ask you. I have a few other questions for you, but is there an area that you want to talk about, that you want to share, that we haven't gotten to yet, my friend?
I want to talk about being a teacher.
Absolutely. Talk away, my friend. I like teachers.
Yeah, I love teaching. If I'm not here in Canada, probably I'll be teaching in the Philippines. I'll be a professor.
Hmm.
I want to see myself actually teaching. So right now, I had this opportunity to teach young kids. So I'm taking the course for early childhood development,
Hmm.
and someday I want to teach them. And also, I plan to take up an education course.
Hmm.
I'm a teacher by profession in the Philippines, but I can't be a teacher here unless you will upgrade.
Hmm.
So yes, I had this opportunity. 2020 is a blessed year for me actually. I became part of the early childhood development part time,
Hmm.
but again, start small,
Yeah.
you will achieve more.
Yeah.
So I love teaching. Hopefully one day, 10 years from now, I still be teaching high school. That's
Nice.
why I started the youth leadership program in the town of Drayton Valley because I love teaching.
Wonderful. Uh, again, folks, here's a teacher in a foreign land, appreciating the new, uh, obviously, opportunities of Canada, and wanted to get back to that teaching again, and really again contributing to society. In this case, the youth of our society, and be able to shape and serve them. And when I was growing up, I remember in Canada, I wanted to be a teacher. Now, so I want to be a teacher because I respected teachers so much. I really respected and love teachers, and I want to be a teacher. But then I bought my first computer back in 1984, and then a year and a bit later, I was paid to program software while I was still in school. So that kind of took me on an IT career, and then later on a management consulting career, and whatever. And years after, I ended up teaching at 4 different universities, part-time on contract, in 68 different courses in 5 programs. So I got my different kind of teaching than I envisioned. I previously envisioned I'd be teaching high schools and whatnot, but it ended up that after a long career in IT, information technology, and management consulting and leadership coaching, I ended up doing a lot of university teaching.
Wow,
Yeah.
impressive. One day I'm going to ask you what program did you take so that, yeah, I want to see myself teaching
Mhm.
someday in university or high school.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not yet too late. As long as you dream, there's
It
no
is
late.
never too late. It is never too late. It's always a combination of uh, job experience, life experience, and certainly formal education. So if you got the three of them combined, they tend to be, very conducive to that. But there's ways to certainly compensate and things like that. But yeah, so I still enjoy teaching and training and whatnot. But I do a little bit less of it these days. There was a time when I would do 20 days of corporate training and university teaching for various universities a month. A month I would do 20 days, different cities, different colleges, different university, different corporations, different government organizations. Just like, where am I supposed to be tomorrow? Okay, yeah, well, what course am I teaching? Okay, yeah, what's the client? Okay, okay, wake up and yeah, you just go there.
Yeah. Well, I'm not yet teaching in university in high school, but I use the youth leadership program because of my passion in learning,
Hmm.
my passion in teaching. I became facilitator.
Mm.
So yes, I really wanted to talk about facilitation too. So
That's
in 2019, I became facilitator of youth leadership program.
yeah.
This year, despite the pandemic, good
Hmm.
thing we're still allowed. I'm also a facilitator in one group of women and one group of men. So that is twice a week. I do it every Tuesday and Thursday night, 2 hours. So I started as a volunteer facilitator of anger and anxiety management. So I love the learning that, when you're a facilitator, it's different from being a speaker. If you're
Absolutely.
a speaker, you own the stage.
Mhm.
But in facilitating, you are not the main person. It's actually the participants who are the main persons. You are just there to guide them, ask questions, facilitate, and the speaking should come from your participants. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing right now too. Aside from a part-time teacher, I'm also a facilitator. So I'm doing facilitation. I don't have a facilitation this month of December. It's my break, but I'll be back next January 14th to continue that facilitation.
Yeah.
And it will end on April. And then it will be back again on September.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I love doing that.
I'm glad to hear that you have discovered that. I've done lots of facilitation in my management consulting background and strategic planning facilitation and all kinds of facilitation. And did you know they actually have an association for that? It's the International Association of Facilitators. And facilitation is the way of the future because we are in a more complex world than ever before. We require a lot of collaboration, and collaboration doesn't happen seamlessly without some effective facilitation. So the facilitator role, and interestingly enough, when I teach those things, I often tell people, you'd be surprised how many people in the world actually does facilitation, because you don't have to be called a facilitator to actually facilitate. In fact, when you are moderating, a moderator at a town hall or political events or whatever, that is
Right.
facilitation. If
Yeah.
you are doing workshops, there's a whole lot of facilitation that happens there. If you're doing strategic planning sessions and you're a facilitator there, lots of facilitation. If you are, so I can go on and on and on and on, but really facilitation is a very common and very highly required in many aspects of life, that people even surprised to even think, oh, yeah, I guess that's facilitation. And for our viewers out there, the word facilitation is come from the Latin word. Do you want to share that facilitation as a word? It came from the word.
Maybe share it with
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
And then also share about the international organization.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
interested in that
yeah.
one.
So what happened is facilitation. The word facilitate is actually means to make easier. That's. So you are there to make it easier for everybody to collaborate, for everybody to negotiate, for everybody to communicate. So as a facilitator, we focus on ensuring that the process is well managed and well led, while we leave the content to other people in the room. Now, you will be able to facilitate a room of people who are way more, perhaps, paid a lot more than you are paid, maybe much higher education, much higher level of really positions in organization, CEOs of different organizations. You might facilitate a whole bunch of city managers. You might facilitate a bunch of executives. They are awesome at what they do. You're not trying to be a bigger CEO than them. You're not trying to be a bigger city manager than them, but you bring this process and this discipline and this tools and techniques of the process, and you facilitate. You make it easier for them to be more effective. So
Mhm.
facilitation is the way of the future.
Yes, I certainly agree with that.
Hmm.
Well, probably I'll ask you about that international.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that international organization for
Yeah.
facilitators.
Yeah, I know a lot about facilitation, so we can chat offline there. We have another comment from Joe. Joe Cass says, "Nice one, Vaughn. Proud, kababa." And here, what does that mean?
As a childhood friend, or you grew up together. So,
Wonderful. Proud buddy here. Watching from Calgary. Wonderful.
yes,
I
thank
hear
you.
they just got some pretty big snow a couple of days ago in Calgary. Is that right? Like we had a bit less kind of immediate snow in the last few days than Calgary had, I think. So thank
Mm.
you, Joe. And we have Elmer chiming in here. Uh, Elmer said, "Yeah, well done, buddy."
Elmer is my batchmate or my buddy and reserve officer training course.
Oh, nice.
Way back home, I really wanted to be, aside from being become a teacher, I want to be a soldier.
Hmm.
But I believe the destiny has other plan for me.
Hmm.
So we are training buddies in a reserve officer training course. That is first step to become to serve in the armed forces in the Philippines.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, so I finished 4 years training of that one from
Hmm.
first year in university to fourth year of university. So I finished the so-called reserve officer training course.
Yeah.
And then when you graduate from college and then you want to take 6 months of training in one of the military camp
Mm.
in the Philippines, you will become a second lieutenant in the armed forces of the Philippines. But
Yeah.
I did not take the 6 months training.
Yeah, well, we have to be true to ourselves. As we learn more, as we discover more, we have to always continue to kind of check with that compass and say, is that really my destiny? Is that really where I truly fit? And I'm glad to hear yet another example of you recalibrating along the way.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
We have Mr. The Feng Chua just chimed
Yeah.
in here.
Hey,
Of course, yeah, we've been talking about Feng. Hey, Feng, I don't know if you heard, we were shouting out to you there, my friend, the awesome coach and mentor, and obviously helping people to squeeze the juice out of life, helping people to realize their full potential. And of course, Feng has lots of different initiatives going, lots of videos, lots of interviews, channels, and just a whole lot of online present, but he write books just like people eat breakfast. Fang would just write another book in a few days. They just whip out another one. So awesome with speed of implementation. And thank you as well, Fang, for being a guest on one of these shows here early on with me. And good to see you on, my friend. So Sylvan, tell us. Again, Fang, earlier on, I don't know if you missed it, but Van was thanking you for being his awesome coach to help him with the 90-day challenge with the book there that he wrote. But yeah, wonderful. So tell us, Vaughn, as you think about again the world, let's just enlarge that scope for a moment. What are your thoughts on our world in general? We talked about your homeland of the Philippines. We talked about your perspective on Canada. What are your thoughts that's top of mind as you think about our world? Because I think we're becoming more and more global as we move along here.
Well, thank you for asking that question. My perspective about the world in general,
Mhm.
now that we are in this situation of COVID, this COVID situation help us to realize what we have.
Mhm.
And I'm hoping this will be a lesson. We will appreciate what we have in general. So when it comes to personal, to family, your perspective, I think this is not the year that we should aim for more. This is the year that we should appreciate what we have. And later on, once COVID is done, once this pandemic is over, people, in my perspective, they will appreciate more the time, the value. They will appreciate their work, their profession, their career. They will appreciate everything that we have, that we had. And this will give value, and later on, they will going to focus more, that they will hold on to their job. Like the speakers, I know most of the speakers are not speaking right now. That's why I mentioned to myself, if you're not speaking, you should be writing. That's why I wrote the book, because I'm my plan to be a bigger in terms of speaking. I set a plan this year. I want to be starting my speaking career by myself. I want to start my coaching career. And that stops. But with this pandemic, it's a lesson. I mentioned earlier that this year is a year of pause. I think we should not stop. We have to divert to something else. Just like in speaking, before we do the speaking in person. Now the world is changing. We are now into digital. We are doing the Zoom. We have the so-called virtual speaker, just like you. Congratulations for that. So we are evolving. We are thinking of other ways what to do. So when this pandemic over, we learn something from this, that even if there's something happening in the world, that will not stop you. People will always innovate. I believe this show like this, if we are not in pandemic, most likely you will be focusing in an in-person facilitation, in-person speaking. So that is one thing that this pandemic helped us. Later on, we will keep on evolving, we will keep on innovating, we will keep on discovering more things.
Yeah.
So that is my perspective on the world. Anyway, with or without pandemic, people are actually discovering something new.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. Now, tell us a little bit more about. I'm going to go to a different topic, maybe outside of speaking and training and the work that you do. You mentioned singing. You enjoy singing to yourself and whatnot. Do you have a hobby that's outside of kind of speaking and training and Toastmasters and those kinds of things? Is there a hobby that's kind of a bit different than all that, my friend?
I love playing chess. So
Oh,
I play
nice.
in computer in my cell phone. I believe that if we have this physical exercise, we have to also to look for our mental health. So we should have a mental exercise. So
Hmm.
I love playing chess. It's part of my mental exercise. Uh, it also helps me not to forget things.
Hmm.
So things happens, we forget the things. But if you play chess or any board games
Hmm.
or like reading, you tend not to forget some things. So it keeps your mind alert.
Hmm.
So that is my hobby. I love playing chess. I occasionally sing by myself as one way of releasing tension and stress.
Do you do
I also,
karaoke? Do you do karaoke, my friend? Do you sing
yes,
karaoke?
yes, for sure. In the Philippines and here, I'm
Oh,
doing karaoke.
see, there you go. Karaoke. Yeah. That's, I would go to my family events and family get together gatherings, and I go to community gathering in the Vietnamese community. I'm just reminded how much we loved as a community, karaoke. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Now, I play guitar in a lot of different bands as well, and that's just a different experience. Being in a band, playing instruments versus singing karaoke, and they're both valid and awesome ways to engage with your music, engage with your interests, and engage with your community. Right?
Yes, right, right. It's nice to have a hobby aside from what we're usually doing.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
nice to have something to
Tell
do.
me, is there something that your friends and even maybe your family, but your friends and your coworkers would be surprised to learn about you, right? Before we go there, Fang Chua, he said, "I miss karaoke." He
Okay.
said, we'll have to do a Zoom karaoke party, right? I, you know what? Maybe we'll do that. But tell us an interesting fact or an interesting thing that people may be surprised to learn about you. Do you have any of those that comes top of mind?
Well, people will be surprised that I don't drink and I
Mm,
don't smoke. But I quit drinking 5 years ago,
mm-hmm,
and people still think that I'm doing it. I
mm,
remember one daughter of a friend.
mm-hmm.
He said, "Uncle Bon is not drinking." Susie, she was surprised.
Yeah.
So they tend to look at me as a person who usually go to a gathering and drink. But yes, when I go to a gathering, I don't drink.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, Mr. Fang Shua chimed in again when regarding my karaoke comment about let's do a Zoom or online karaoke party in COVID time here. He just says time and date. He's interested. Uh, we'll have to make it happen sometime soon. Cool. Well, I'm glad to hear there's some interest. Yeah. Well, do you remember the story of how and why and when you decided that you're going to change that habit?
health reason.
Mm. Oh,
And of course, I know that drinking is not good for your voice.
ah.
Same with singing, right? For those singers, so it's not really good. So you don't want to ruin your health.
Mm,
One reason is I want to live longer.
mhm,
I want to live healthier.
mm,
So that's the reason why I quit. And of course, my family is already here. So I want to devote my time to them more
mhm,
than drinking. I know drinking will help you socialize, you build network,
mm,
but not drinking is not really healthy for me.
mhm,
Like too much drinking. There's a limitless of drinking. I remember my son when he told me 5 years ago. He said, "Pa," so he calls me Papa.
mhm,
Pa, when you stop drinking, I noticed that you have a fewer friends now.
mhm,
That's what he told me. So I told them, a friend will understand you, whatever you plan for yourself, whatever you want to do,
mhm,
a friend will always understand you.
mhm,
Now, if you notice that I have a fewer friends now
mhm,
compared before, then they are just my companion.
mhm.
They are not my true friends.
Yeah.
So that's I still remember that, vividly remember that he said when I stopped drinking.
Mm,
You have a pure friends. He said,
mm, yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spin through some of these photos and really I want you to let me know if there's a story that you want to share that one of these photos bring out. So no pressure either way, but I'm just gonna spin through some photos quickly here. So there you are with GoPro speakers there.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I'm just gonna spin it through here. Chime in when you have a story if you have a story to share.
Um, that is the book that we sent December of 2019 to the Philippines.
Mm.
So that is the big box.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is in Edmonton actually. So me and my wife
Mm-hmm.
were there together with Vico, my son.
Mm-hmm.
So that is I remember that is the first time we sent the box.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
First of many.
yeah.
Oh, I remember this scene, the Toastmaster scenes. I remember it well. I don't know if you know, but I actually was a president of a charter club. That I was a charter president there. When I was a president of that club, that's when I first joined Toastmasters. I was voted
Oh,
in
that's
as president, and that's why I joined it.
yeah.
First time. Lots of books.
Lots of books. That's perfect.
Yeah, tell your son he did a good job with the name, Paper
I
Planes, as
will.
well as the
Yeah.
the icon there, the graphics. I like it. I love it.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
hmm,
yeah, and you know,
those are books. Yeah.
I think that it's a great way to be grounded by people who are in communities that are outside of where we live, right? So in your case, you stay connected with the community of in the Philippines there, and that just round out our perspective and experience. I know when I visit people who are not in my typical circle that I spend time with, my perspective always get tempered and widen a little bit, right?
Yeah. Hmm. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for
Number
sharing those.
one Amazon bestseller. Tell us about that.
Well, I'm blessed that I have friends who supported me when I launched the book. So yeah, I asked for their help. I marketing and is the number one reason so that they will know your product, whatever, be it a book, your music. So good marketing, of course. When you market, we use social media. So we use our Facebook, our Instagram. So that's one way. And of course, connecting to be able to support. If someone wants to support you, I think you need to connect to the people. You need to connect to your community first. So it's a years of building relationship.
Hmm.
That is for me. That is my belief. You are not just there, go out and hey, I have something. Can you support me? No. People should know you first. People should know your brand before they will support you.
Yeah.
You're not just there that, oh, I have a book, buy it. No. If a person truly wants to support you, they should know you. And that's your brand.
Hmm.
It's how you give back to your community, it's how you connect to the people. That's where
Absolutely.
you're going to get support. And that will make you Amazon best selling, or that will make someone support your endeavor, support your work. So, network to showcase your work.
There you go, folks. Life is all about people. Life is all about relationships, and life is all about the long-term plan. You can make some short-term tactical moves, but great things happen in those long-term things that developed. Just like when you sow a seed, it doesn't on the next day become a beautiful thing that you can enjoy. It takes years sometimes.
Yes, it takes years, my friend. Very takes years.
And you just have to enjoy sowing the seed and enjoy watching it grow and in some cases nurturing it along the way and so thank you
Absolutely.
for sharing that.
Yes.
Yeah. So as we round the corner here, I want to ask you, feel free to share any other aspects that you want to share that we haven't gotten to yet, my friend. I'm all ears here. Any other areas that you wanted to chat about, my friend?
Well, I'm into mentoring.
Mm,
So I feel blessed that people message me, ask for advice and mentor how they can improve more.
mhm,
So I'm mentoring and coaching people from other parts of the world
mhm.
through WeChat, through Facebook, through video call. So what is good thing about mentoring is you were able to share what you learn from other people,
Yeah.
and I like that. So I gave evaluations, I give feedback on how they improve in their speaking, on their writing. Later on, I'm just doing it for not a business purpose, but later on, hopefully, I'll build my own coaching career, and that's my plan in 2021.
You bet.
I'll start my coach. I'm coaching someone right now,
Mhm.
and aside from those, I'm teaching and doing my facilitation that helped me to become a mentor and coach.
Yeah.
Eventually, in 2021, I expand more.
Mhm.
So that is one thing that I plan for 2021 and beyond.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, I mean, I just I also believe strongly in mentoring and the value of mentoring and coaching and helping people who, we can help people who are who need help in those areas where we have been able to not necessarily fully master to 120 degrees or 120%, but really we just know enough to be of value to them. That's all it really takes to help somebody. You don't have to be the international Olympian athlete that won gold medals. You don't have to be one of those. If you're
Right.
good at athletics and you're helping somebody who is up and coming to become a better athlete, then you're providing value. So don't wait
Yes,
until you are, kind of world class, internationally famous before you try and help somebody. Always
that's right.
reach back and
I
help
agree
people.
with what you said. Totally agree. Amen to that.
Yeah, yeah. And I must say, when we help people, when we mentor them, when we coach them, we learn a whole bunch of stuff ourselves as well.
Yes.
You
I
know,
think teaching one thing, it makes you learn it twice. You remember that saying? When you teach something, you learn it twice.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It also teach you things. So, for example, when I'm inside a classroom teaching courses in corporate training, I'm teaching them on whatever it is, leadership, management, business, and whatever. But as a lifelong learner, I'm learning all kinds of stuff beyond that. So, for example, I learned how to better facilitate group communication. I learned how to better, listen to the questions in the room, listen to the body language. I'm learning different things than what it is that I'm teaching them. So again, we while we're teaching, while we're mentoring, pay attention to the learning opportunities as well. Don't just go into the teaching mode and not learn anything at the end of that teaching. We should be
Right.
learning as much or maybe even more than the people that we're mentoring and teaching.
Good insight. Thank you for that.
Yeah, yeah. So, friends, we've been listening to Mr. Vaughn, Eric Tandoc here, and we're going to wrap it up here. So we're rounding the corner and wrap it up. And if folks who are watching have any questions or comments, feel free to chime in, folks. We're just round the corner on wrapping it up here. So as we wrap up here, I want to first of all thank you, Vaughn, for joining us for an hour and a bit here in this
You're
wonderful
welcome.
conversation. And I want to thank the folks who have chimed in their
Yeah.
comments. We have Donna Lean, who chimed in, Joe Cass chimed in, Elmer chimed in, and Feng Chua also chimed in, and others who've been watching and commenting now or later in the stream. Feel free to keep on engaging in this comment section of the Facebook Live. But now I'm going to have you take us out in just a moment and sort of wrap it up here. But before we do that, I want to also let you know that when we're done, just hang around in the green room for just another minute there, Vaughn. But so thank you, Vaughn, for spending the time with us and sharing your journey and stories and insights with us, and your passion for learning, your passion for helping others, your passion for being a community person, being a community contributor, and your passion for books and helping with the Paper Planes project and so on. So wonderful to see that community contributor in anybody. So that's great to see. Now, again, friends, please encourage Vaughn as he continues on this journey of his. And so with that, my friend, I'm going to ask you, Vaughn, to take us out in any which way you want. You can sing us a song if you like. You can cite a poem if you like. You can summarize some key points if you like. You can make a whole new speech if you like. No rush, no pressure. It can be long, it can be short. I'll be quiet until you're done. You're going to take us out, my friend. It's all yours.
Thank you. Thank you, my friend. And thank you for having me here, by the way. Yes. I always like telling this to my friends and to myself. Start small, achieve more. You speak more, you motivate more. So we have to start somewhere. And I believe when you mentioned that you don't need to be an international champion to help others, to inspire others. And you don't need to be doing bigger things just to call you expert. Example, you don't need to enroll into a course of meditation or mindfulness so that you will be expert. If you're doing it slowly, you started it and doing it consistently, that makes you expert already. As long as you're doing it by heart and you share it, that makes you expert in one field. So I always encourage everyone, start small and you achieve more. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Start more to achieve more. As Wayne Gretzky have said, you miss all of the shots you don't take. So if you want to achieve results, you're gonna have to take action. You're gonna have to take action. So
Right.
wonderful sharing, my friend. Uh, Again, folks, take good care of yourself. Take good care of one another. Till we meet again. Have a wonderful day.
Yeah. Merry Christmas to
Merry
all.
Christmas.
Merry
Happy
Christmas.
holidays.
Happy holidays.
Festus season, festivity. Just be safe and be healthy, folks.
Yes. Stay safe.
We'll make it through this together.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, Vaughn.